this question comes up all the time. So in TradingView, how do I send an alert right before the session closes to flatten my position? So I have a new script that I want to publish on the TradersPost library, which is just handles this. It sends an alert. Um, uh, I'll show you over here. It's just an alert that gets sent at the beginning of the session if you wanted to, or at the end of the session.
Nice.
And the idea here is that in the script settings, you'll be able to set the session you're dealing with, and the time zone. And if you want to, so if you just had this, what it'll do is that there's a new parameter on the time function or the time method in PineScript that allows you to look forward up to 500 bars into the future. So now we can actually check if the next bar coming up is in the current session or will be in the current session, and be able to determine an end that way. But if you didn't want to rely only on that, because what I like to do is that I don't only want to know what the last bar in the session is. I want to know where I am in that bar. So maybe I want to be on the 15. I'm on the 15-minute chart, and I want to end on the. But I don't want to close the positions at 3:45. Maybe I want to close it a little bit further into the candle. And so if we enable granular control, we'll have this counter that shows up next to the last candle. And we can set here, let's say, change this to seconds. We'll be able to set, I don't know if you can see that there next to there, but we'll be able to set how many seconds in or how many of the sub time frame bars. And at that number, the alert will fire. So if I'm on the 1 minute chart and I set this to 1 second, it's counting every seconds. And I could say at 30 seconds on that last session bar, send the signal to close. If I was on the 15-minute chart, I can decide to say, give me the 1 minute sub time frame. And when I am 10 minutes into that candle, go ahead and send the alert. So I wanted to I'm going to publish this inside of with you guys' permission, into the TradersPost library publicly. But I also want people to use that as an example of how they can go in and actually use their own code if they want to add it to their own strategies, how to time the end of a session.
Yeah, I like this a lot. I think maybe one comment I could make about this is I've had a lot of people who are moving to daily strategies, which of course I love to see. It's really tough to trade on intraday, but the farther you get away from that noise, I think the more successful you are in terms of, dealing with let's call it the sleep test, right? Like the litmus test for whether you can sleep at night. My opinion on strategies in general is if you can't walk away from your screen for more than 5 minutes, then you're probably taking on too much risk. So daily strategies look pretty nice. But my question is, if I'm on a daily strategy, how will this trigger? And I think it's important to recognize that you can create alerts on the daily chart to take your positions, but then could use a script like Tom's here, but change to the 5 minute time frame or the 1 minute time frame to create that alert, but then go back to the daily time frame to do your analysis. So that means that the alert will fire off of the 1 minute chart, but your strategy runs on the daily chart. So there's no reason you can't switch on different time frames there.
So I can modify that so that the session is optional, because that's only intraday, and then but the granular control will still work. You can just say you can subdivide that daily into whatever time frame that you want, and then set it up that way. But I would imagine the way I had a client work on it is that they had their strategy working on a higher time frame, but then they set alerts on a separate chart at the lower time frame, specifically just to send something like this. So there could be different ways, but I will modify it. I actually didn't think about the daily time frame or up.
Cool.
And that way, I'll post that inside of the Discord group for everyone to get, and that way we'll never have that question again. We could be like, "This is how you can do it."
Well, maybe not never, but we'll hear it again, and we invite it. We'll point you to this new script.